There we go. Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to X-Plane. Sorry, it might be a bit too loud, huh? 1 second, let's go inside. We are still flying with the TBM today. Hey Jay! 27 months, there we go, much quieter. Perfect timing on that one. How have you been, man? Hope you are feeling better. How are things shaping up there? Appreciate the sub. Goodness, 27 months seems to have just flown away. Aha! Looks like we have a guy there. Bam. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. The ban hammer coming down this early in the stream. Good morning, Gamaste. Very early. Glad you made it. Gaming Oliver, glad you made it as well. Is it your first time here on stream? Not a newbie when it comes to the community though as a whole. So thanks. Glad you made it. Hey Patrick, were you in Jack's stream as well? Sorry, couldn't drop by. I think we are good. All's good. Too much traffic outside. Are you guys no longer in lockdown? So much fresh air. You wanted to ban. The fake ban. Why not? Alright, so for today, still flying with this plane. Still trying to be a bit more proficient with this. I much prefer the quality over quantity route. So instead of flying different planes, I would prefer just sticking to one for a longer period of time and getting very much used to it. Flying it as close as possible to real life if I can. And then moving on when we are ready. When there's something new, when we are happy enough with having flown the plane. Nice takeoff there. We are currently still in the UK, somewhere in England, I believe. This is specifically the East Midlands Airport, right next to the M1, if I see correctly. ICAO code Echo Golf November X-ray. 1 sec, I think I saw someone. Had. Hey, how are you, man? Thanks for joining. Hope you are feeling better. That's where the airport is. Echo Golf November X-ray East Midlands. If I zoom out, that is right in the middle of England there. Well, almost, right? Close enough. And the M1 is right there on the side. So as we depart later, runway 9 will be seeing the M1. Maybe we can trace it as well depending on where we're going today. Now, in one of the after the stream last week, I got an email from Tino. He's the developer of the plugin called X-CPL Pilot, that thing you're seeing in the stream title. And he generously gave me a copy, no strings attached, because he thought I would enjoy it. And I definitely say I do. So I'm here to play with that a bit more. I've been checking it out bit by bit. So we see all these like panels here. And it's a full-blown economy system basically that focuses on GA aircraft. Luckily it isn't too hot this morning. Oh, that's true. Yes. You don't get that too often. Usually watch the VODs, odd seeing it live, I know. Great feeling. No worries, Jay. Hey, Dead Cat. Grew up next to that airport. Oh, really? Wow, nice. Then you might spot some of the familiar landscapes, familiar landmarks. Week has been good. Pretty fast moving. Lots of things happening at the same time. Just the way we like it. How have you guys been? Do you enjoy the videos so far for Pro Mods 250 preview? We'll get more of that on Friday. we'll be able to explore more of that. But for now, we fly over the UK. Hey Tesla, welcome back. Doing good, doing good. So let me showcase this a bit. It might be a bit small though on your screens, but can I maximize this? I think I can do that, but it'll cover some of the stuff here. So instead I'll do this instead. But yeah, it's a nice immersive plugin because it really simulates that you have like a business. So you start off with the very basic stuff. You have only like one FBO, one like base of operations. I always forget what FBO means. Forward base operation, something like that. But basically you operate out of one airport, and I chose the East Midlands for that. And from here you can see all these lines. These are all the different jobs that are available for us. Different colors represent different kinds of jobs. The green one is like your straightforward from and to, taking passengers to that spot. You have the pink ones, which are a bit more unique. They can be like sightseeing tours where it involves going through a specific landmark, going through a specific city, flying over it. And you have passengers at your back who take photos and stuff, and you have to tour them around. You have skydiving jobs as well, which is probably not fitting for this plane, but like that one, which basically involves, you can try it here nonetheless. It basically involves flying to a certain altitude and deploying the skydivers so they jump off, and supposedly you can like track where they are, like you can see them falling from the sky. But somehow I haven't been able to make that work yet. I think I have to tweak with that a bit more. There are also different colors here which I'm not very familiar with yet. What is that? VIP. Oh, we might actually have a chance of trying that out. Although this looks like it goes past England already. Echo Hotel Kilo Delta. I wonder what airport that is. But yeah, it looks like this gold line here stands for VIP. And then everything here earns you money. So it's a very immersive plugin. Goes much more than just flying without a purpose other than practicing. This one really gets you involved in the entire feeling of operating a plane and having like a business. You have aircraft, you can buy aircraft. Initially, you only start with a very light aircraft and like you level up and unlock other planes there. But I didn't want to change planes because I wanted to practice with this as much as I can. And good thing is you can like customize this to however you want, and there are many options so you don't restrict yourself. So it's more free-flowing to a point. I think so, yeah. Rough estimates 40% US and UK, but definitely dominated by those two regions in terms of audience. In YouTube, that is. In Twitch, might be a bit different. Yeah, 2.50 will be out when it's ready. Soon. Trademark. And this airport is quite interesting. I came across this just because I was flying randomly in FS Economy, and I found this and I liked it because it's like a nice small, not really small, but it's a nice regional airport from the looks of it. So there's like a GA ramp here where the smaller planes can stay, certain hangars here, but at the same time you have all these airliners, and you can actually see them departing. So it's like flying with the big boys in a way, but it doesn't feel too out of place. It's kind of like that nice middle point where you have large planes and GA aircraft traveling with you. So it's a nice mix. What I also like about it is, for some reason, it looks like the runway is made in a completely wrong direction. And I'm not sure if it stays like this for the entire year. But if you look at this diagram, we stay inside here so it's quieter. So usually the runway, for those of you who are not familiar, the direction of the runway is usually depending on the usual winds in that place where it's built. So normally when you take off, the ideal thing is to face the wind. So if you see here this icon, that's where the wind is blowing from. So it's coming from the north, blowing south to a point. And normally the runway would be facing that way. So the ideal direction for this runway, in my opinion, is 90 degrees off. And as a result, whenever I land here, I've been flying over through this airport for, I guess, a week or so. And every single day, the winds have been like this. So I'm wondering why they came up with that 0927 runway when, I don't know, a 1836 would be much better. Maybe it depends on the time of the year, but what it makes is it gives a good practice for crosswind landings. So not ideal conditions, but it's a good practicing area, basically. Yeah, it's definitely not for the basic stuff. The plugin is meant for those who are really looking for more out of their sim. And when you're starting out, that will definitely get overwhelming very fast. So yeah, it's not for brand new guys. But once you start getting into the sim and you start exploring it and you start looking for more, then this would be the next level of progression in my opinion. So let's take a nice small job here just to warm it up a bit. What's also nice is the list of jobs here. You can actually refresh that. You can regenerate that. You know how it is in trucking, and that you can do like a force economy reset. It's basically like this, but you have just do it in a click of a button. Furthermore, you can also set it up that you can customize the jobs that become available. So if you look at the job generator settings here, you can actually specify the minimum and maximum flight time. Yeah, so it creates the jobs depending on the time you like, and it's very close to like in truck sim, that job distance slider, if you remember. So it's similar to this one, although this one is much more accurate. You can also ignore certain criteria, like you don't want grass runways, you don't want short runways, stuff like that. So very useful. Anyway, let's go and check one of these. Let's see what this is for. Now this is yeah, this might be a good warm-up. Not actually sure how it works with a TBM. Probably not the plane you would use, but we can add that as a job. So that will earn us 1458 British pounds in revenue. But yeah, it's a full-blown business plugin, because I think Tino, the developer, comes from a business background, so it really is pretty intense, like all the costs here. You even have like an income forecast where you have the gross revenue, but then you have all these expenses. Oh, beautiful takeoff there. You have all these expenses of takeoff, landing, emission, and all that stuff. So you end up having an estimated cost, and the net income would be that for this trip. So you can like check it out first if you will earn something from it before you continue. Anyway, so that is how it looks. I also got in touch with him, and he mentioned that he would like to make this plugin compatible for Flight Sim 2020. And that's something I'm really looking forward to, because Flight Sim 2020 looks amazing, right? And definitely we'll get into that hopefully by next week. I should be streaming that. But the problem is, I imagine after flying a couple of hours, people will start getting bored, because there is no really object to the sim. It's flying, but no mission. Yeah, no goal, no economy, no progression. So I think after a few hours, after a few days, weeks, I would guess even hours, people would start looking for more immersion, and that means economy plugins, in my view. And so I hope Tino, the developer here, finds a way to port this over to Flight Sim. I would happily pay for that, because that would make the sim much more engaging in my books. I have a hard time just being in an open-ended simulator. I want something to pursue, something that immerses me more in that world. Anyway, so let's go and open the tablet here, schedule the flight. I have a couple of options with the schedule. I think that one is perfect, 8:30 in the morning. So you can see here the from and to are the same, because we're basically just dropping off skydivers and going back to the base. So once we accept that, we can start off the job. Now the job is at 8:30, but it's currently only 7:28 in the morning in the simulator. So we can use the time machine. That just fast forwards the time. And you have this funky feature of this plugin. It also includes certain aspects here, like this car, which doesn't look very realistic. It doesn't look very high texture. But it's nice that there's something at least. And it simulates like the people you are boarding going to you. It's a bit funky, but it's a nice touch. And yeah, they often get lost and they like roam around the place for a couple of seconds before they find you. It's like, oh, he was right there. So, and there they are, and now they're ready for boarding. So I have mixed feelings about it, but it's not high quality, but it's fun. So we'll take it. Ready for boarding. We need 507 kg of payload. Yeah, some planes it cannot tweak. Oh, that's exactly it, 507 kg. Nice. And yeah, the car goes through you somehow. In terms of fuel, I think that should be okay. Let's put 80 gallons in there just to be on the safe side. Let's remove all the covers. Close the doors. Alright. Turn on the brakes. So how are you guys doing? What have you been up to these days? Is it pretty busy in school, work? Having more time in front of your PCs, playing or simming? I myself haven't gone out still in quite a while. I'm pretty happy staying at home as much as I can. Let's go with the safety briefing in here. Engines can now be turned on. Let's close the music here so we can appreciate the sound of the plane itself. I also like the plugin because it adds some very nice little details like sounds. Later on you'll hear like seat belts buckling in. Like that. And then if you have like a sightseeing tour all throughout the flight, you will hear like the clicks of the DSLR camera. It's pretty nice. Just the additional immersion it brings. All the bells and whistles. Strobe lights will be on for this plane as soon as you turn on the aircraft. Now it does say here altitude, we need to be 12,000 feet above ground level. So the ground level here is, let me see. Also, what's cool is it does say like you need to be at that altitude and you need to drop them off at Badsley Ensor, wherever that is. And I have no clue where that is. So the good thing is you can have go to a route here and you can save that route as an FMS plan. And once that's saved, you can just go to your flight planner, your FMS here, or G1000, and load it up. Like, it will be there, the X-CPL file. Just load that and it will load the flight plan already. So no need to go to any other external software. Everything can be done in the sim. And that's specifically what he's done because he wants to make this compatible for VR as well. So you don't have to like, with VR you don't have the luxury of alt tabbing so much. So that's where we're headed. And if you look here, LFE, landing feet elevation, is 306 in Echo Golf November X-ray where we are. So 12,000 feet above roughly would be, well, basically 12,300. So maybe we can set the altitude to around 13,000 here is where we will target it. It's pretty flat in these areas anyway. Flight level 130. You've been out of school fairly frequently. Ah, yes. I can imagine. We live in very different times, so a bit harder to adjust. Hang in there, man. I felt that way a couple of weeks back, and that's why I requested for a week off from work, because even though I was at home all the time, the routine was getting to me. Working, eating, playing, eating, working, sleeping, repeat, rinse and repeat, and there's like, it just gets to you at some point. All right, here it says ready for departure, so we can close that now. We can proceed with all the rest of the stuff here. Everything looks good here. Three red, 3 yellow, and all the warnings that we expect. Boost pump is on. Start the timer. Ignition is on. Monitor that. 13% NG. Go to low idle and let's monitor the engine. The expectation is NG should be 30% at least by 30 seconds. That's why we started the timer. Looking good there. ITT is not going over the red line as well. Timer wise, I think we should be okay there. Once everything is green, can go and switch to flight idle. Turn on inertial separator. Nav lights on. Aux boost pump can go to auto. Fuel selector to auto. Trims can be on for autopilot. Oxygen for the pilot can be enabled. Bleed is auto, as well as the air conditioner, and we should be set there. If you're not getting any of these mumbo jumbo, don't worry, I'm just mumbling to myself. NG, that's part of the engine. So the engine has like fans inside. That's like the fan inside. So once it gets to a certain percentage, then you'll know that you can introduce fuel already. Been on the PC for a bit today, but been boiling in the UK. Yeah, I don't think it will boil, because here in Singapore it's always boiling. So our PCs are well familiar with that feeling. Don't worry. Alright, looks like we are good. Now I won't bother working with air traffic control, but I will try out. Oh, and this is something Thaddeus taught me. The G1000 in this plane is actually pretty nicely simulated. You can even see airport information of where you're going. In our case, our final destination in this trip is the same airport, so I'm seeing the same airport here. And what's cool is you can get like info on the runway. Oh, it's covered. Let me show there. You can get info on the runway. 9,450 feet by 150 width. It's a hard surface, so that's always good. Frequencies, AWOS is what I want. And I already have that set up. Automated weather observation system. That gives us the information on the weather.
East Midlands
like
information
that.
Oscar. 600 Zulu weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility 10. Rain. Sky conditions 4500 scattered. Temperature to 1. 2.17. Area QNH 1014.
1014.
Arriving runway 09. Departing runway 09. Advise
09.
on initial contact. You have Oscar.
Alright, we have Oscar. But yes, I won't bother with ATC comms at the moment. I think we focus on that when we are doing some kind of IFR flight instead. Right, let's get going. Hasn't been impacting your learning, which you can do. Why am I not moving? Because I have chocks, my bad. Remove that. Thank you. Bleed air is something where, so the engine produces a lot of heat. Some of that heat is then distributed for other functions like air conditioning, heating, stuff like that. So that's that they call when you turn on the bleed air. It moves some of that heat, so it like reuses some of that, so it's not put to waste. From in a very high level, because I cannot explain it in more detail anyway. Can do pretty fine at home. Nice. Yeah, hopefully we'll be a bit more accustomed to it as we stay in this new environment that we're living in. Flight sim looks very promising indeed, although looks like you'll need a powerful PC. Hop in the plane and fly wherever you want. Yeah, I would definitely need some kind of economy system in there so that I can stay engaged in the sim. Otherwise, my attention span isn't good enough. Been getting outside the house for a bit helps. That's very true. Yeah, although, how do you say? Yeah, for me, it's not been very, like I feel more comfortable at home. Because outside you need to wear a mask and stuff like that. Turn on the heaters here. Flaps landing. Takeoff trim is set. No one on final, that's good. Let's go and position ourselves here. I'm using the rudder pedals again and still getting used to them. And since this runway is pretty long, we don't need the entire thing, so we can actually depart from here, kind of midfield. Alright, 50% on the torque. Just so our props will be in the green range, that looks good. Okay, release the brakes and takeoff thrust is set. And now I can try and maintain center line. Operative word on try. It's looking pretty good. Rotate. Positive rate. Tap the brakes. Gear up. Push forward and pitch for 150 knots. Oh. Sudden windy stuff in there. Feels a bit weird. 1 second, Wow, winds are pretty gusty in this place. Flaps up. Yaw damper. Alright, let's get a bit more settled in here. Looks like there's a power station right there. I think I saw that in the map a while ago. Ratcliffe Power Station or something like that. Looks like it is raining indeed. Let's have a look at Nextrad here. There are some pockets. Yeah, have to be very careful with that. I'll keep inertial separator on. Okay. Hey led. Oh no, we're doomed. Too late. How are you? Able to check the fix on NL? No, I haven't yet. Have you? Are we allowed to do that? I'm not even sure what the fix entails. I have not been able to click on that video yet. Got Siri in his plane. That will be probably something we'll need. Whew. Not the best weather for skydiving. Not sure what these guys are thinking, but just a pilot. So, yeah, let's continue our climb here. Just trimming so we're a bit more stable. You did works good. What do you need to change in high level? That's reassuring. Great to see someone took the time to make that work. Although that means I'll be getting tons of questions related to NL again. I think it will be worth the effort. Oh my goodness, yeah. Pretty bad weather here. Yeah, you can hear the turbulence. Cabin shakes and everything. It doesn't look bad, right? Might be a visual mismatch here. Because we are in very bad weather, my goodness. It's not this shaky normally. I hear that level of turbulence. Hope you guys... I'm not sure if I hope you guys have had your breakfast already, or I hope you didn't have him. In any case, get your bags ready. It's an add-on mod which you need to add it on top of NL. Ah, I see. I see. Yeah. I'll have to know how to do it in the public version because people will definitely ask. Thanks. Great to hear that it works. I can probably enable that for ETS2 at least. Alright. So we go from here. I'll try it later. Man, if our plane is getting rocked around like this, I can only imagine what it will do to the skydivers. Probably not very skydiver friendly, huh? Yeah, but my main reservation of enabling NL for ATS is the too much brightness. A lot of people have been complaining about the brightness levels. But in ETS2 it's just fine mostly. So in ETS2 I think I can enable it. That's cool though. NL is definitely on a different level there. It comes to the skyboxes and the lighting. Would be good to have it back. Have you had a chance to look into the add-on mod and what it changes? Oh my goodness, these clouds actually look very nice, huh? Not bad at all. Goodness. For public version, just need to delete the manifest file. Well, the good thing is there is a video on that already, so whenever anyone asks, I can just lead them to that video. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. But good to hear that it works. Not the best weather for this. We'll probably do like an IFR flight afterwards because it doesn't seem like a proper VFR weather. Even though it does look like it. Pretty interesting what people can come up with. What does it do? Does it change a lot of files? Or overwrite a lot of files? It's also nice to be staying in a specific airport, like a single FBO, because it gives you a better idea of what's happening over there in a longer period of time. Like when you're on ooh. Yeah, probably. Let's turn that off. Let's see if that works better. Because you get to see the progression of the weather. I've gone through days like silky smooth weather. And best time for doing VFR flying and just exploring and enjoying the scenery. I've gone through weather which is like literally you cannot see anything. So you have to fully rely on your instruments. All in the same airport, so it's nice to get that variety. Although the thing that I'm very frustrated the most in here in X-Plane is the weather. Basically, is not very good. I mean, it is quite nice. The feeling, I guess, is close to reality. How bumpy it can get, how smooth it can get, like the flight models. But what I don't like mainly is the weather, how the weather shifts. How the weather changes abruptly from one spot to the next. Let's go and maintain 13,000 here if we can. Just flickers out the clouds, the weather, and then flickers back in a second later. Completely different. It doesn't transition. That's one of the nice things I like about Flight Sim 2020 from the videos I've seen. It looks like the weather is so fluid, you actually won't notice it changing, but it's like moving ahead of you. And if you're not paying close attention, you can get caught up in it. But yeah, it's a very gradual change, much like in real life. It's very nice. Slow down here a bit. There we go. You have less viewers than usual. Oh yeah, definitely. When it comes to flight sims, much less. Not very prominent in flight sims yet, and especially because I'm flying GA. GA is not very, how do you say, it doesn't attract as many viewers as opposed to when flying an airliner, for example. More people come in because it's cooler. The point, but I don't know. At this point, it's depending on the mood, but like I can't force myself to fly an airliner for the views, for the viewers, you know, but I don't like that kind of approach. I think it takes away from the heart of what I'm trying to do and what I really want. GA is general aviation, so the smaller planes. So like the smaller planes versus the airliners, basically. Oh, there we go. Much better winds here. Alright, can we deploy our guys now? How does it work? Okay, now we can deploy them. I'm actually not sure if we can open the door or if we'll get blown to pieces because the cabin is pressurized. Probably not the best way. Yeah, you don't use this for skydiving normally because it's pressurized. So once you open that door, so then maybe we'll have to like get rid of the pressurization for now. No, but I can just deploy this and that's that. But normally you should be able to like follow the skydivers out. I'm not sure why it's not working for me though. I think I have to set up something. Because I've seen videos where they start from the plane and they start falling, like zooming out. And it's a nice effect. It's a very cinematic feel. But yeah, it's it doesn't feel like that at the moment. Yeah, the airliners, like the ones we are more familiar with. The 737s, the Airbuses. The ones you fly in when you go somewhere. Oh my goodness, the winds. Would be nice change though. I don't think I've gone through like stormy weather in a bit. So I didn't have to like evade anything at all. You know what? Let's try something. Let me try something. If I can do something like very slow here. If I can try that weather radar if I can click it at least. Should be that one. And if we can enable that for weather mode. Let's see, that should boot up for a second. And then you see that black thing, that's the weather radar. So it can scan things ahead of us. And in this plane, it's well simulated that it can actually see the pockets of bad weather. Like if you have thunderstorms or things like that. Hey da! Nah, it's not that bad. Hey Dennis, thank you for the raid, appreciate it. How are you guys? Oh, that looks nice. I wonder what city that is. Looks like there's a stadium down there as well. Near that big junction there. Anyway, focus. Not really any bad weather that I'm seeing, but maybe just bad winds. Rougher winds than usual. Let's go and make our way home. Try to at least. Got a thunderstorm at the moment. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. We are currently in... Are you familiar with this place? The East Midlands. And yeah, it looks like some pretty heavy winds. Although I don't see the thunderstorm itself, but it looks pretty intense. Based on the way the winds are hammering at my plane. Some people actually ban, some streamers ban people when talking about viewers. That's interesting. Well, I guess each streamer has their own rules. We are somewhere in England. Near the M1. No, East Midlands it says. Of course, I know nothing about this place, so you guys will have to cover for me there. Let's see if I can go through past these clouds at the bottom and then sneak in. There's like a gap before the next set of clouds come in. Maybe we can descend that way. My goodness, yeah, it's been turbulent winds all throughout. Down from the ground up here until 13,000 feet up in the air. Storm is over Manchester now, maybe that's why. Maybe we can try and chase it, huh? East Midlands will have the tail end now as it's going southeast or northwest. There we go. That's more like the storm. There you go. You see the next rad is detecting all those pockets of bad weather. And I bet if we enable the weather radar now, we'll see those as well. There you go. So that's what we want to avoid. Stay away from these clouds. But yeah, that's the problem. Like you see how it just blinked into existence, and it could very well be like you're on your well on your way to sneaking past the clouds, but suddenly it could flicker out, and once it flickers back in, it could be a totally different thing already. Totally different clouds, and you could be right in the soup, right inside the thunderstorm. So it's quite dangerous in a way. Slow down here and descend. Let me see. What's a familiar place for me? Wait a minute. focus first on this one. So I think we have to descend pretty roughly here in order to avoid these clouds.
Landing gear.
London to Scotland. Yeah, definitely passing through there. The airport is to the west of the M1, right near Kegworth. Does that sound familiar? Castle Donington. Fly to Manchester. We can try. Yeah, we can go and see. Chase the storm. Yeah, see how that works? How that just flickers? Earlier we had the chance of avoiding it. But now we'll have to dip down. It's not going to be healthy for the plane. Overspeed risks. Rover Derby. Looks like the flag of Ukraine. What flag is that? Okay, pull up. Ooh. Looks like there were some clouds there. Interestingly enough. Yeah, it looks like pretty bad weather. After we land, if we can land, let's do like an IFR flight next to Manchester and see. Try and chase that storm. I doubt I'll be able to get some kind of job going there. But let's see how to plan that.
Landing gear.
Now we did go past the airport, so we'll have to loop around here. That's fine. Happy lurking. Still some pockets there, but nothing extreme. Airport should be 2 hours left. Winds at the airport are 21. Yeah, runway 09 I think is the best still. Do we see the airport? Ooh, rain. Should be on our left. I could just plot in the ILS. Don't see it at the moment. Well, we can fly past it. Some very bad weather in here though. Looks like we'll be able to test how much this plane can withstand in terms of bad weather. Let's go down to 2,000 feet. But at least the winds are much more calm here. Yeah, that looks like the airport right there. Here it is. So we can join the left downwind, looks like. Let's just pass through this way. Maintain 2,000 feet if we can. And join the pattern. Still not as smooth, but not as bad as a while ago. blue and the yellow thing before. Ah, I see what you mean. Yeah, this one. This is the, what do you call it? Attitude indicator. That's basically the blue is the sky and the brown is the land. That just gives you a view of the horizon. And this is like a backup of this one. The PFD, the primary flight display, is this big screen. And when that goes off and for some reason that breaks, then you have this as a backup. And that's based on a different power source and stuff like that. I think it has a separate battery. Something along those lines.
Getting slow.
My bad. Yeah, I was not paying attention. Oh, the flaps here. Just it started pouring there. My goodness, this sim is so realistic, huh? Oh, that's so bad. So near the runway. I'll have to adjust later. I have not come to that point yet where landing feels like second nature. It's still like a hit or miss for me. Hit or miss, yeah. At certain points, like sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. It's not like trucking yet where it's automatic. I guess I need to fly more, that means. Get used to how the plane reacts to different kinds of weather. Looks good. Let's go and get the gears down. Let's go and get the landing flaps down as well.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Landing gear is down. Flaps are, oh my goodness, that weather. Flaps are not working. No, it's good. Alright, there we go. Let's make our turn here. I think we will be overshooting the runway a bit, but should be able to make up for it in time. But I think though I think we are pretty high, so we'll have to start losing a bit of altitude in here.
Airspeed.
That looks much better. Of course, I forgot the inertial separator. There we go, that's more like it. Now I'm not working with ATC at the moment because I'm having enough trouble controlling my plane in this kind of situation. So, not quite. Don't need additional workload. You've had the pilot abort the landing because it was too wet at Changi. The runway was too wet. Yeah, it's definitely harder that way. There are certain conditions when the runway is wet. It's more risky, so they tend to like have different calculations with the takeoff and stuff like that. The plane feels very weird. It feels like I'm doing something wrong. But I don't quite get what it is, what the difference is. Look at how unstable that approach is. Like, strange. Keep having to push on the yoke here. But I think we can still manage somehow. And now it starts falling here.
Airspeed.
There you go. Let's keep that. Looks good. I can work with that. Bit too late going to flight idle, but I'll take it. Let's go in reverse so I can slow down without even using my brakes. Use the propeller to slow us down. I think they call it the beta. All those shakes you're hearing in the cabin is part of a separate plugin. Sounds so good. But yeah, in X-Plane you have to buy a separate plugin to get all those sounds and cabin shakes. In Flight Sim, from what I've heard so far in the videos, it looks like those are all integrated. I'm not sure if it's done the same way, same depth, but quite nice. There is something definitely. Got diverted from Tel Aviv. Yikes. I saw a video yesterday. Forgot what plane it was, but it was, I think, a fairly large plane. They were landing on this airport and they were like a few seconds ahead. They landed, and a few seconds after, the rain poured hard. And I would imagine if they landed any later, they would probably have gotten well, they would probably have maybe even diverted at that rate because the weather was just so bad. Not lucky. They get the fire engines drive up and down the runway in the morning if it rained in the night. What do they do? Do they kind of sweep away the water or something? That's the plan, HUD. Yeah, normally in the channel we have many other videos anyway of other games, right? We've had like train sims, bus sims, depending on what's out. Recently though, it's been mostly trucking because there's been so much happening in the trucking world. But yeah, that's usually how it goes. We balance it out with whatever's out. Bus Simulator 21 looks like it's coming as well. Thanks for sharing that video, Jay. Although it's still 2021, I think, right? So not anytime soon. I think we have a bit of leeway for that. Farmer Clumsy. Yeah, my interest in farming has dwindled down, and I haven't seen a reason to come back yet. When something comes out that's exciting, though, I'll definitely get back into it. Because the multiplayer aspect is definitely fun. Man, look at those pockets there. That is not looking pretty good. Something interesting coming to trucking. Looking forward to it. And we can't spill anything, so I won't bother asking. I will wait patiently. Thank you. Let's clean up the plane here. You can actually hear the storm. You can't see it for some reason though. Weird. Maybe not in this exact spot. Let's see how that works. So once we close the leg here, should get the income. You'll see the money going up. And then after it goes up, it goes down. So that's the gross revenue. And you minus the expenses. And you're left with that one. And then afterwards, you get an evaluation of the entire flight. Here you go. It's actually pretty good. We did have a long float though. Yeah, I went to idle a bit too late there, so we floated a bit. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice. I can zoom in it though. But it measures you in different factors from the start of the engine to the end as you land and taxi. And it evaluates you there and gives you a rating. And this rating will depend on what jobs you get. Like the better your rating is, the better jobs you get, the better paying jobs you get. So there is a definite like advantage and motivation for doing good on your flights. And I like that approach because it gives you a more, how do you say, it's more immersive. In FS economy, it's nice because you can go anywhere, but it's all about the money. You take passengers, you deliver them, and as long as you land in that airport, it's good. It doesn't matter if you forgot procedures, doesn't matter if you landed bad. As long as you made it, you're good. Here, you're rated in all the other aspects, so it promotes a very nice system. So you fly with good habits. It's nice. I like that approach. All right, so that looks good. If you look here, let's turn on the music for a sec. F1. I think I did try it out. Not get any good at it. We're not good at racing games at all because my reflexes are super slow. So if you are into racing, unfortunately, this channel will not be it. Seasons 19. Yeah, it's too hardcore for me. I'm sure it appeals to some people, but it's too much for me. We tried it once, right? Manchester, let's have a look. What code you have? Manchester is Echo Golf Charlie Charlie. Let's see if you put that as the destination. That will be... Oh, that's actually very close to us. Wow. Yeah, Manchester is just that way. 46 miles away. We can definitely fly there. But where is the storm? In Manchester itself, I think has nice weather. Let me read it. It's VFR, light rain. There are some cumulonimbus clouds though. So yeah, it looks like there are some thunderstorms in the area. But I think that would be anywhere across anyway. Looks like it. One of the biggest airports in the north. Nice. Let's see if we find something that direction, so at least we can pass that way. Bringing out a game next year. Who? The Giants guys? Ooh, a new flight sim? Looking forward to that. Let's go and regenerate the job so we get something new. We can take like a straight flight. Oh, what is that? Different colors. Looks like a pretty nice leg here. I like it. So multi-leg journey. I wonder how that works. I guess you can take the jobs one at a time. But yeah, it's a multi-legged thing. So you can go any direction whatsoever. So it looks like this one comes from East Midlands, goes here. Because that one, the Echo Golf November Charlie, if you click that, it says it's from there going back to the home base. As opposed to when clicking this one, it's from the home base going there. So it's like from left looping around to right. But that sounds cool. I think we'll be passing Manchester if we take this route. Echo Golf November Lima is actually Barrow Walney Island. Does that ring a bell? Not to me. Let me have a look at the runway. Runway is 3,930 feet. Not that lengthy. And yes, it looks like it will pass through almost directly Manchester. Yeah, we can take that. You always have rain there. It's the hot weather causing the storms. Yeah, it's very common during summer, isn't it? Makes sense. Okay, let's try this. So what we do here now in terms of taking jobs, now this is a bit more similar to FS Economy because you can actually see people here, number of people, and each aircraft has a set number of people in there. He has some predefined ones. So for us, it's like 5 passengers, 4 at the back, 1 in front. So you can take only up to 5 people with you. So we can add those to our list. So 2, 4, and then 1 more here. Would be, I guess, that guy. And if we try to add some more, it will say aircraft only has 5 available seats. But if you look here below, there's a maximum takeoff weight. And there we're not maxed out yet. So there we can actually, if we fuel up here, so we can actually still add cargo, these guys. So even though we don't have passengers anymore, we can still add some cargo. And that's a bar there, so we're 80% full already. So I guess that's pretty much safe allowance. Alright, so this is the direct route, and this is what I like about GA, about general aviation, because you get to plan your own flights. You get to be more involved in the entire thing. Normally, in an airliner, you get handed out your flight plan, right, and you fly it. Here, it's more like, where do you want to pass through? Do you want to pass through some scenic sites, or you have some preferences? And using this tool, this little nav map tool, it can be very immersive. Let's see, so you can have like an auto flight plan like that, and it gives you the waypoints automatically. And then you can set like the altitude you want. And this one would show you like the top of climb, top of descent markers there. So that means at this point you reach your cruising altitude, whatever you're set. And at this point is when you probably would start descending. And that would differ depending on if you change the altitude you set. So I think 18,000 feet, flight level 180 is where we are good to stay here. I won't bother with departure, but we do have some arrival procedures in here. Let me see. The weather on the arrival airport looks like it's going to be perfect for one of the ILSs. That looks like that one. ILS 35. So if you look at the runway here, yeah, it's not very lengthy. Only 3,300 feet and quite narrow. Narrower than usual. But I think that should be enough for this plane. I just have to correctly land it. So that's going to be a challenge. Not much room for error. Okay, So once that's set, I can save it. Save it as an FMS file in my PC, so I can load that into the plane. What about flight routes where it's mostly over water, Singapore to Manila? You detour over the other Philippine islands. So the general rule is you don't go too far away from land. So in case the engines fail, you can glide, because when a plane's engine stops, the plane doesn't go like flat down, right? It's still like a glider at that point. So it doesn't need to be on land always, but it needs to be a certain distance from land. And the higher a plane is, the more gliding distance it can have. So the higher a plane is, the farther it can stay away from land. And using that general rule, they develop a flight plan that's relatively close to land but not really near there, and they can more or less plan a more straight path. And they have several waypoints and airways for that. Like airways are like highways but for the air, which makes sense. So we can schedule that now. We can pick a morning departure. That sounds good. There you go. We're waiting for those guys again. That car. Let's go and power up the plane in the meantime. Load up that FMS. Yeah, it's quite nice because if you can imagine, if you're doing like the trans-Pacific or transatlantic flights, like from the Philippines to the US, you'll be flying to the east, right? And you'll be flying over the Pacific Ocean. But you can imagine, like, you'd probably be wondering how it would work. Like, can you just travel straight in a straight line across the Pacific Ocean? And the answer is no, because you would have to somehow stick to relatively closer to land. So in case of emergency, you can have a proper landing, you can have a proper gliding. Enough gliding distance to the nearest airport. So somehow the flight plan would kind of hug the land in a way, and it would curve naturally like so. 612 kilos. Ah, pretty heavy plane. 612, okay. Let's add some weights here. We'll have to add a lot of cargo, I think. $612. There you go. Okay, that's 612. There we go. Wait, what's happening there? Set that on the side here. Let me load up our flight plan. So we should be able to load up Echo Golf November X-Ray to Echo Golf November Lima, this one. And that should be exactly what we planned. Yes, that looks good. I love those sounds, buckling up and everything. Degree descent. There you go. Can't activate your rail card. Why not? Looks good. Alright, this time let's go ahead and set up air traffic control, because it's much more immersive when you're doing a proper flight, an IFR flight. That's instrument flight rules. Instead of relying on the visual landmarks, you really are using nav aids, using your GPS, interacting with air traffic control and stuff like that. So I have this third-party application called Pilot to ATC, which allows me to have a certain level of air traffic control communication, and I still can remain offline and be my introvert self. Flight level 180. Runway 35, runway 27. Why 27? Let's have a listen to the ATIS.
East Midlands information November. 500 Zulu weather. Wind 340 at 5 variable 3002030. Visibility more than 10. Rain. Sky conditions 4500 scattered. Temperature 20. Dew point 17. Area QNH 1014. Arriving runway 09. Departing runway 09. Advise on initial contact. You have November.
Still 09. So I should change that here. Runway 09. Just load that. And I think that should be okay. Let's connect to the simulator. Move over to ground frequency. Validate and file. So you see all these different screens, all these different applications to make flight sim work. That makes all these monitors I have super useful. But yeah, that's just the way it is right now, because it's not like a cohesive thing. It's like segmented, but you get the full experience. You just have to piece them all together.
Good morning, United 70.
United 70, good morning. Take first right, XUA Delta, and then Quebec to Delta 4.
They're not the most understanding. Yeah, that's good. We can help a little. Yeah, I'm not sure how we can work with that. Not sure if there's some kind of like education for the parents to understand what their child is going through. Not really familiar with it. That would be nice if there was such a thing.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango ready to copy IFR clearance.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango is cleared to Echo Golf November Lima as filed. Expect departure runway 09. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet.
4,000.
Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 3523.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango is cleared to Echo Golf November Lima as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 3523.
Looks good.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango read back correct. QNH is 1014. Let us know when you're ready to taxi.
QNH is 1014 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Sounds good.
6901, contact tower van Menijner, 905.
Right, let's start that procedure again, but this time it's a bit different because you can see the ITT is 241 degrees, so the temperature inside the engine is pretty hot at the moment. And if we try to start it at that point, it will overheat. So in the meantime, we have to like dry motor it for now, which is basically starting the ignition but not introducing fuel. So what this does basically is it allows the propeller to rotate a bit, the fans inside to move a bit, and it cools down the engine without actually introducing more fuel and then triggering that entire process. So it gives you a better cooling, and once it's cold enough below 150 degrees, then you can start it. That should work now. There you go. Looking good. Perfect. Yeah, that's great that you have this community at least to help with the troubles that we're having. 'Cause especially now in these times. Now more than ever, we are more prone to these kinds of mental issues. And in my opinion, it's nothing to just brush away. You know, it's a serious thing. And we have to put the right attention to it. Alright. We are ready to taxi. Looks good there. One sec, huh? Something looks different here.
Goedemorgen, 29 Echo, turning on the Delta.
Good day, Kidam 29 Echo, taxiway Delta, Alpha to Golf 9er.
There should be like a back screen here, I think. Anyway, that's okay. We'll make that work. Air conditioning is on, so I'm not sure why this guy is still hot. But we'll work through that. Alright, let's get taxi instructions. Let me show you the map.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango ready to taxi.
So this is where we are.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango taxi to runway 09 via taxiways Mike, Alpha, Golf, hold short runway 09.
Taxi to runway 09 via taxiways Mike, Alpha, Golf, hold short runway 09 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
So Mike is this one, this taxiway here. And then she said turn left. So Mike, turn left to Alpha. And then go straight ahead and turn right on Golf, which basically leads us to the beginning of the runway. So that's how usually the taxi instructions work when moving around the airport. Just double checking that we have everything set in this one. Ready for departure. Good. Yeah, DBM is just a plane. I'm not sure what it means, but it's a kind of plane. This is the name of the plane itself, TBM 900. And there are like newer models now, TBM 930, TBM 940. That looks good. Yeah, this is why I like this airport. You get a chance to fly with the big boys. That's a 737 in front of us. A Ryanair 737. It's just nice seeing them taxi, seeing them take off. Sometimes I try to race them on the taxiway. In real life, when you have instances like this, the ground controller would tell you who goes first. So when they told us to go Mike Alpha Golf, they would also say give way to the Ryanair 737, or they would tell the Ryanair 737 to wait for us, to give way to us. So I think I can race that guy. Let's see if he stops. He is bigger, but maybe we are more VIP. Let's race him. I think he will stop for us. He should be. Oh my goodness, no. Looks like someone's in a rush. Because sometimes the AI is smart enough to detect that we are in front of it and they stop, but apparently sometimes they're on a schedule. So we have to be a bit more careful with that. But yeah, the same thing here. That plane is from a separate third-party plugin that's paid. So yeah, with X-Plane, you have the basic platform, and you have all these payware plugins, mostly payware, that contribute to the experience, and you get this entire package, but you have to like piece it together yourself. And it's great. It's just that it is a lot more maintenance. Each of those plugins can get updated. Each of those plugins can have their own complications, especially when a new update of the sim is out. Stuff like that. And that's just like very similar to the modding world. Taxi lights. Where we have to be very... Why is that guy turning at hotel, not golf? Anyway. So yeah, that's where we have to be very careful with the additions, because it's very much like in trucking when you have all these mods and you piece them together and it looks nice, but they add more complexities the more plugins you add in. Welcome back, Da. ASHA still has huge stigma against mental health and usually brushes it off. Yeah, that's true. It has not quite developed that mindset yet. I have no idea. X-Plane has been here for
TBM 1 Kilo Tango contact tower on 124.0.
a long time.
Tower on 124.0 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
I'm not sure if it's been 20 years or something, but it's been there for a long time. And 11 is the latest iteration on it. X-Plane 11. I think X-Plane 11 released in 2016. And this is the first sim that I really got into, first flight sim. Alright, so we hold short here. We get ready, turn on a heater, make sure the trims are okay. Flaps are set for takeoff. Let's turn on the landing lights and let's go and tell tower that
Tower
we're ready
TBM
for
1
departure.
Kilo Tango ready for departure runway 09.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango winds are 341 at 5 knots cleared for takeoff. Runway 09 maintain runway heading until above 1,300 feet, then turn left heading 338 to intercept course.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 09 maintain runway heading until above 1,300 feet, then left to 338 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Okay. Is that clear, guys, the instruction they gave us? So it's basically maintaining this runway heading. 089 on the heading, facing to the east. Climb to 1,300 feet. And then turn left towards 338 heading to the northwest. And then we join the flight plan we filed from there. I'll show you later how it goes. So we line up here. 50% torque. A little bit of aileron deflection for the wind. I think we have a bit of tailwind here. Alright, looks good. Maintain center line, please. Thank you. Airspeed's alive. 90 knots, rotate. Just very, very subtly. Positive rate, tap the brakes, gear up. Pitch for 115. So we'll maintain this heading facing this way until we reach 1,300 feet and then we turn left. Flaps up. Yaw damper on. Looking good. So I'm just hand flying at the moment. The weather feels much better now. So much more different than a while ago. So much smoother. 1,300 and we turn. Like so. Congrats. How did you manage to fix it? So here you see that heading bug, that blue thing. So that's where we have to be facing, heading. When you see the magenta line, so we are going to intercept that. So you see here in the middle, so we're going this way, and then once we go on that magenta line, we join.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, climb and maintain flight level 100.
100.
Climb and maintain flight level 100 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Alright, let's switch to standard.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango,
Reach.
contact East Midlands Radar Director on 120.12. Enjoy your morning.
Radar Director on 120.12 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Can go off. Inertial separator I'll keep on because we're passing through some clouds here. Some precipitation.
Radar Director TBM 1 Kilo Tango climbing to flight level 100.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, good morning. Radar contact.
Yeah, that's a good question. Initially, ideally, whenever you switch frequencies, so during your first call, oh my goodness, weather is changing on us again. Whenever you make your first call, you introduce yourself using your full tail number. So TBM 461 Kilo Tango, they usually disregard the N in the US. Actually, I should have. Yeah, this N is more for a US thing. Yeah, look at how wild that is. Just let the autopilot take care of it, so I can focus more on talking with you guys. Yeah, it does a much better job than I do. Light level change. Switch to 124 knots here. There you go. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, it's getting a bit bumpy because we're passing through some clouds. Let me also turn on the weather radar here, just so we're sure that we're not going through some bad weather. By the way, thank you for following. Welcome to the channel, and feel free to say hi and join us in chat. Sorry for the late reaction. It's just a bit overloaded at the moment a while ago. So normally when you call air traffic control, you would give the entire thing, your entire tail number, and then they would oftentimes call you the last 3 letters, so you wouldn't have to tell the entire thing every single call. But yeah, that's how it usually progresses. Am I setting this up right? Oh yeah, that's let's set it up, zoom it in a bit. So that's 20 miles up ahead. So within 5 miles, within the first 20 miles, there is nothing. So that's good. Let's keep it right here as we climb. I think you can also tilt the weather radar here, because right now I think the weather radar is detecting exactly how we are facing. Like if we are pitching up and climbing, the weather radar is checking also the weather up ahead. But normally when you're like starting to descend, you want it to pitch down, for example, so that you get the heads up
Tango, climb and maintain
on the weather
flight level
coming up
180.
ahead.
Climb and maintain flight level 180 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
180. You woke your dad up. Sent you the wrong code. Ah, nice. These sounds that we're hearing are the cabin shakes due to turbulence. Let's see where we are. That's us at the moment. I don't think there's any more clouds up here, so we can actually turn off the inertial separator and Guess the weather radar we can also put on standby. There seems to be a pocket right there, but that's below us, so should be okay. Pretty shaky though. Yikes. But yeah, these sounds, these cabin sounds are all custom, all from that separate plugin, XP Realistic. So by default the sim looks nowhere like this, and you would have to really change things up to make it more realistic to a point. Go and track the VORs that we're passing through. 112.1. That way. And then let's put it here in bearing 1. There we go. Okay. So now we have, so normally our flight plan
SpeedM 1
uses
Kilo Tango, contact Manchester Center on 118.77.
Okay,
Have a nice day.
That be for now.
Center on 118.77. Take care. TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Alright. And that guy will report first.
Good morning, Lotus 7 Mike. I'm level 1.
Center TBM 1 Kilo Tango climbing to flight level 180.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, good morning. Radar contact.
So normally when we plug all of these in, these are like GPS coordinates, and this is using your GPS system. But if for some reason the GPS system fails, like you can see here, GPS, and there's like a level of accuracy here. If for some reason that fails, you have these, how do you say it, more old school means of tracking, of navigating, and those are like the VORs, the different acronyms. So you still have a chance, even if your GPS fails, you can track to a certain point, and then you see how far you are away from that point. So these are just like backup systems, and it's a good habit to have, to track them together with the GPS, so you have some fail-safe. Because yeah, here when flying, it's all about the redundancies. There's backup upon backup upon backup to be on the safe side. Oh, that looks so good. Those clouds look so fluffy. Beautiful. 16 days till your birthday. Wow. Nice. Are you getting yourself a gift? It does seem like there is an aircraft right beside us. Where? That guy. Lufthansa. What aircraft is that? I'm not sure. That's cool. Bit too close for comfort though. But yeah, that's not bad at all, right? That's not a bad visual at all. Yeah, those graphics, definitely not a pushover. Right, flight level 180, this is going to be our cruising altitude. So now that we are here, you can see the airspeed climbing, because we've finished climbing. Now we are level, and so we can go faster now, and we have less like air resistance over at this altitude. So it's more efficient for the engine, you can go much faster, stuff like that. Crest of Manchester is a B. Let's see where we are. We will be close there already. Looks like there's someone close to us as well, below us. There it is. Looks pretty scary. There's Manchester to our left. We should have a view of it. Yikes, or maybe not. Blame the clouds. But if you look at the map at least, Manchester is right there. So that should be on our 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so somewhere around these parts I would guess. Yeah, it looks pretty rough in these parts. Lots of clouds. Yeah, the thing also with X-plane at the moment is I think it's very hard to determine if the clouds are bad or not. Like if these are thunder, like cumulonimbus, you know, those which have thunderstorms and not, because they kind of look similar. I think that's something that needs to be improved. You should afford a gift for yourself. Well, maybe you can get yourself a non-monetary gift, like, I don't know, a relaxing day. If budget is a bit on the tighter side. My goodness, that looks so good. Full cloud cover like that. I think where we're going is like I'm not sure if it's like a military base. But it looks like it's on the west coast of I'm not sure if that's still England or Scotland already. Let's have a look at the map again. So we are going there. The edge of that. Looks like there's like a separate island to a point. Interesting. You familiar with these parts? Bradford. Edinburgh and Glasgow is still here, so I guess that's still England, huh? Because where is the split? I always get confused where the split is. Where the border is. I guess it's somewhere here. So that is most likely still England.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, expect the ILS approach to runway 35 at Walney Island.
Expect the ILS approach to runway 35 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Yeah, I agree. The graphics look amazing. And it definitely was not easy to get this one. Had to do a lot of mixing and matching of different plugins. Do some manipulation of the code myself. Lots of planes here today. Nice. Plane spotting. If it's below Newcastle upon time, it's is that the border and whatnot? Newcastle is somewhere on the east, is it? Let me try and find it. That one, okay. I see. That's a good. Yeah, that's an easier mark for me. Okay. I think I did an offline trucking job before I recorded that video yesterday. I drove from Edinburgh to Manchester, I think. So yeah, I crossed over from Scotland to England, and there was a, I'm not sure if it was an A road, I think, and there was that sign, "Welcome to England." We should be reaching our top of descent soon. We'll wait for air traffic control to guide us through. So at times there could be a mismatch between your flight plan here when you are planned to start your descent versus what ATC has in mind. So, but yeah, oftentimes ATC will guide us through anyway. So even though it's a bit different, it's okay. Anything further up from Carlisle? Where is Carlisle? Let's bring it back here. Of course, I have no clue. I always forget where things are. Right at the top of England. Ah. Well, the entire world is possible to fly over in the sim. It's just that they will look very basic because I only have like the beautiful landscape, the satellite imagery over the UK. Top of England. Oh, England only. I see what you mean.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, descend and maintain flight level 130.
There's Carlisle.
Descend
okay.
and maintain flight level 130 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
One sec, guys. Let's get back to business here. 130. Right. I guess we can start our descent. Vertical speed on 1,800 feet per minute. Dial down on the throttle a bit so we don't over torque the engine. Many challenging airports in India, Nepal and Bhutan. Yes. When I went on my flight sim experience, I went on that thing, HUD. I'm not sure if you were in the channel already by then, but I went on that flight simulator here we have in SG. It was a nice experience, very different. Gets you in a cockpit and you fly a 737 and they make you fly through these very challenging approaches. It was quite entertaining. Not as full-fledged simulation, but quite nice. Because that's like the first time I had my encounter with rudder pedals and it felt so weird. There you go, man, that looks so good. Let's see. So in our destination airport, can we find something here? There's only the tower frequency. No ATS or whatnot. Okay, fine. And then here we can see the different runways. Yeah, that's where we're landing. 1735. 35 specifically. Only 3,300 feet. But I think this plane can land just given around 2,500. And we should have enough headwind. So I think it should be okay. 6 knot headwind looks like. Should be fine. Let's get back there. Ah, I see. Yeah, that's the one. It's a very interesting trip. That was Mrs. Clumsy's gift to me for my birthday. I think that was this year, isn't it? Yeah, might be. It was realistic in terms of the feel. Well, I wouldn't know what realistic would feel normally, but... one sec, huh? I think I am veering off from the path here. Let's go ahead and activate the approach. It didn't have all of the buttons, all of the controls of the real plane, and I am more familiar with that because I was flying with the 737 for quite a while with the Zibo. So when I got there, I was like, where are the other buttons? So it's a bit more simplified in that way, but you get a more realistic flight deck for sure, and the controls are much more firm. They're much harder and less toyish feel. So it's a nice experience, and you get some people guiding you as well. Oh, that is beautiful. Let's go ahead and load up the chart here for increased immersion. Echo Golf November Lima. Paramount Island, that's the one. Let's go ahead and load up the approach. So even this one,
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, descend and maintain flight level 080.
080. Why is my guy not responding?
Descend.
There we go. 1,500 feet per minute should be okay. Or I can actually enable VNav here. If I execute that, there you go. I actually get a hint of my altitude. So this one is saying we are 2,000 feet above, or 3,000 feet above, and to reach that point we have to... Actually, you know what I can do? I can just go VNav direct like this. And it will not actually allow me because I'm too far away. Fine. Let's do it like that. Alright. Yeah, I got some targeted ads. Yeah, Facebook is smart that way. I guess it knew that I was into flight sim, and yeah, it found me. And when I was telling Mrs. Clumsy about it, she was like, well, let's get you there. And I was I had my reservations about it because it was quite pricey. We could either do that or slow down, don't go beyond 250 knots, below 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and turn on the inertial separator here. But yeah, it because it cost like a hotel stay, an overnight hotel stay, so it was quite pricey. But it was worth it in the end, and she pushed me to try it because it's a different experience altogether. Minimums here are 244, so let's set that up. Minimums would be 244. Set that to 250. Why is that minus 250? That's not what I want. It should be positive 250. There you go. Okay, good. Our minimums are set. Hey, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Sorry, I'm a bit busy with the different setups, but I'll get back to you. Feel free to say hi.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango QNH is 1014 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 35 at Walney Island. Descend and maintain 1,900 feet.
1,900.
QNH is 1014 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 35 descend and maintain 1,900 feet TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
I think we'll have to dive here. Because if you look at the plan... Actually, no, it's not that bad, huh? There you go. VNav it up.
And I'm 6 November, 50. 50 then I'm 6 November.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango QNH is 1014 at
Nice.
Walney Island Contact Tower on 123.2. Have a good morning.
QNH is
awesome,
1014 tower on 123.2 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
110.15, that is already in there. Final approach course is 348.
Tower TBM 1 Kilo Tango inbound for ILS approach
That's where
runway
we are.
35.
That's where we're going.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango, good morning. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 35, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 35 will call when established on final TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Start really slowing down here. And you can see there is this barrel 385. That looks like an NDB to me, so let's go and track it. 385. That's going to be for additional reference. In case we need to do a missed approach, we want to track that. So here, if we zoom in here and enable the ADF, you see that direction, it's pointing that way. That's where the locator is, the thing we tuned. And that is exactly where the airport is, like this spot right here. So that looks good. Alright, looks good there. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. Let's see if I'm missing something. Almost at idle throttle now. So we're trying to slow down and descend. Yeah, this should be okay. Should have enough space for it. Looks like we are 10 miles away from the airport. 9 miles. Looking good there. As we level off here at 1,900 feet, then we should be slowing down a bit more. Let me get back on the throttle here. Arm the approach. Looks good. But yeah, the workload really gets high even with Autopilot. And that's why for the air traffic control communications, I just set the AI to do it. So he'll be the one taking care of tuning the radio and communicating, so I can focus on flying and setting up the plane. That looks good. Alright. Let's go ahead and set flaps 1. First notch of flaps. Turn on our landing light. Inertial separator is on. I think they have an acronym for the checklist here. I think it was GIFY. GIFY. And that's basically gear, inertial separator, flaps, and yaw damper. Something like that. So let's go and deploy the gear. 3 green, that's good. Missed altitude is set 3,000. Let's go ahead and report that we have
Tower TBM 1 Kilo Tango ready for departure runway 35.
No, ignore me. I clicked the wrong thing.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango established on final for ILS runway 35.
TBM 1 Kilo Tango winds are 352 at 7 knots, cleared to land runway 35.
There we go.
Cleared to land runway 35 TBM 1 Kilo Tango.
Second notch of flaps for landing. That looks good. Bit foggy here, huh? But at least there are no storms. And the wind is pretty good so far. That's more like it. Let's go ahead and disable Autopilot. Fly this in on our own. Trim it. That looks okay. Wonder what that white building ahead of us is. And all those. But yeah, the amount of detail that has been put through this, really studying the entirety of UK, you know, explains why this is a very well-deserved payware from Orbx. Very nice. Now that's a more stable approach. Bit low though. That looks better. But yeah, that is a pretty short runway. You can see already from here. Let's go and climb up a bit. I'll read up on that in a bit. There we go.
Minimum.
Land. Going to continue like this. Try to land at that same spot. Wish me luck, guys.
Airspeed.
Oh, that was a bit hard.
Getting slow.
But
TBM 1
we can
Kilo
work with
Tango
that.
exit runway when able.
I think we have more than enough space here. That looks okay. Yeah, no problem at all slowing down here. 3,000 feet. Let's watch that in the replay later. I have a bit of difficulty estimating that when the runway length is... Oh, this is actually not the taxiway. Where do we go from here? Maybe we have to back taxi here all the way back. 1 second. Where do you go from here? Okay, it looks like there was a gate that we passed. Nice landing. I think it was okay. Not that bad. Could have been smoother, but I can live with that. Let's clean up the flaps here. Landing lights are off. Switch to taxi. All of the taxiways are blocked with an X. Alright, I can read up on this now. You have a soft toy that you carry around with you everywhere as a comfort object. People look at you weirdly. It helps improve your mood in public. Oh, that's good that you found that. Is that one of those like squishy toys? Like a stress ball? They're like buildings that are blurred. Yeah, I'm also wondering about that in terms of copyright. I did see though, there was a video I saw where they actually were flying over the city. So the skylines and the buildings, and there was like an H&M logo in there. So I guess, at least from that point, they are able to display some of the brands. Let's turn off the flight directors here. This should be pretty straightforward. Actually, what I can do as well is if you zoom in close enough to this point, this is actually pretty cool. You can also see the airport diagram from here, which is nice. Oh yeah, what's happening? So you see where we're going. We're going to turn right there. Pass through this runway. Turn left that taxiway. Taxiway Alpha, looks like it is. Hey, how are you? Glad you could join today. Yes, I'm using rudder pedals now and still getting used to it. But I am ready for Flight Sim 2020 from that point of view at least. It's a stuffed toy plushie, not an animal. A macaron, like the French thing. Wow, cool. Well, personally, I would have liked better if you could eat it. But yeah, glad you found something that works for you. There we are. I think the passengers are all in one piece. And yeah, I've been reading through the development plans for this plugin. Looks like a lot of things are being planned in addition. Like right now, the passengers are pretty timid. They're not very interactive, right? They're there, but they're not really speaking or anything. I think he will plan it that there is some interaction that can be done already, like, I don't know, special requests or something like that. I wasn't able to read up on it very much, but something along those lines, I think. There's the windsock. Now, where are we parking this thing? Here? Let's park on the helipad. Is that a helipad? No. Maybe that's where we should be parking. Yeah, it is a helipad. Well, so there's a mark there. Why not? There you go. Alright. Parking brake. Remove the headset. Let's go to flight idle here. Turn off the inertial separator. Taxi lights can come off. All of those we clean up later. I forgot to turn off the bleed. Air conditioning. Show me the money. Nice. All right. Chocks put there. Open up the doors. Let's go ahead and see how we rated. Like crying babies? I think so. They will like scream if you fly bad. Something like that. It says landing on runway 0, landing on center line is 0. We did land on a runway, but I think there's some logic involved there that if you don't land properly, it gets... Yeah, I think there's still a bit of fine-tuning that involves that point there. I thought we did land on the center line, but okay. Looks good. Earned 2,000 there. Not bad at all. And I think these numbers are closer to reality. Although I did have to boost up the income quite a bit, just so I wouldn't have to grind that hard. But then again, at this point, the income is... Well, I guess the income would be useful for getting a new base of operations, a new FBO in a different airport. Let's go and see how that landing was. It must get noisy here when planes land. So approach pretty stable, pretty much in the center. I like it. And then the flare there, bit late. Yeah, bounced a little, a tad late on the flare. Would have been so good if I flared a little bit earlier. But that's not too bad. I'll take it. That was definitely in the center line though. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm also wondering how Microsoft made that work, because I know SCS has had some problems with those kinds of things, right? Copyrighted material. Maybe they got rights for all of them, or at least for most of them, because I know the Eiffel Tower is in the sim, the new sim. So cool. Right. Let's go and have a look. I would like a VFR flight next if we could. Although this seems like a very long leg here. So from here, we have some time still? Yes, we do. So we set that as the departure, and that seems very familiar, this airport. Ah, that's Oban. Yes, that would be great. Yeah, this is also the one where we tried to do a VFR flight before. Let's try that. If we were to fly over here at like, I don't know, 8,500 feet, that would take us, it says here, 35 minutes. Yeah, that should be okay. At least we get some more sights, right? We could do VFR, follow some roads, some landmarks. Been nearly a year. Ah, I see. Wow. Yeah, that's great to hear, man. I'm glad you decided to step out of the lurking zone. And no problem with lurking, but yeah, it's much more fun interacting. Definitely. So appreciate that. 81, 85. Let's stick that to 200 gallons. The good thing about GA is they don't need that much planning in terms of, well, the fuel needs to, you need to have plenty for sure, but it's not like the airliners where you need to just have enough. Oftentimes, even if you just fill it to the brim, it will be okay. It will not be that bad in terms of calculation. Don't need to be that accurate is what I noticed. Many of the YouTubers I watch, they just fill their tanks, especially if they're in an airport where the fuel is cheap. Let's go and schedule this. Do we want something at night? No, because that would be such a waste. Let's go with that though, 10:30. That looks more like it. Good. There's the thing. Waiting for cargo. Don't I have all of these people? Yeah. Cargo and passengers actually. He's still getting lost. He cannot find me. Even though I'm the only plane here. Goodness. Okay, there you go. Board it up. Nice. Let's go ahead and close all the doors. You can also close them manually, but this is just quicker. The chocks there. There we go. I love that sound. So crunchy. Fastening seatbelts. So while that's loading up, I do enjoy the VFR flights when we have good weather, and it seems like this is a good qualifier for that. So let's go to 8,500 feet. Ow. Forgot to turn that off. So we can reset this. And the other thing we'll need to do is set here Echo Golf, Echo Oscar. That's Oban in Scotland. There we are. And let's plug in something, maybe like 1,000 feet. So we can get some kind of vertical guidance. Set that to 3 degrees in here. That's the angle at which we descend. I always forget the acronym what FPA means, but that's the angle you pitch down. So horizon is 0, pitch down 3 degrees. And that's like the plan it will give you. Okay, that looks good. It's enough right there. And what else do we need? Yeah, I want to plan it. I want to do a VFR here. We can, I guess, trace the coast somehow. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. We can trace the coast here. No need for roads, but we can easily trace the coast. From here, just cross over. That other side of the coast should be visible to us. There should be an airport there. There's a train line there. The only thing is, all of those are on the right side. So it won't be that visible because I can't just look left like that. I will have to look to the right, but I guess we can make that work. So go straight through. And then we'll come across some mountains here. Maybe we'll have to trace some of these. Dumfries, why does that sound a bit familiar? We can trace through the valley here. Looks pretty interesting. And then reach Oban that way. That might be something we could do. Let me do it this way. So if I track that one, just so we have proper guidance in the map. Yeah, something like that. And also the app is detecting like all the mountains, all the possible hindrances we can come across with the flight plan we set. Looks like we should be safe at 3,500 feet. So that shouldn't be a problem. So we can actually set that lower so we get a better sightseeing. Set to 4,500. Maybe for a better view of the things below. Let's repeat that entire thing. You guys probably know the drill by now. Let's let that engine cool down for a bit. Once it goes below 150, we should be good there. Let's introduce fuel. There we go. No worries, what is it? Forgetting something? I hope not. Yeah, it looks good. Flaps for takeoff. Other than that, I think we should be okay. Let's go and CDI that one. Alright. Put the headset on. Hey, chicken strips, definitely hyped. Yes. One more week, well, less than a week. Hopefully by next week we should be in Flight Sim 2020 already. By then. How about you? Can be either HUD, but originally it was Clumsy Geek, but it was just too long. So I was happy enough to stay in like just Clumsy. But by then I had the logo already, so I kept it. But it's originally Clumsy Geek, yeah. Wow. There we go. Got a bit stuck in the grass there. Taxi lights on. Thanks to all that looping around we did, we are right at the beginning of the runway again. Runway 35 this should be. Yeah, 3517 exactly, this one. Perfect. Let's go ahead and turn on those heaters. Landing lights. Flaps are set, trims are good. Right. We are ready. And we should have pretty calm winds here. So that should be okay. There's the runway right there. Alright, let's start here. %50 torque. RPM is good. Release the brakes and thrust for takeoff. Center line, 90 knots, rotate. Looking good. Wow, the winds are so calm here. Gear up. Stab the brakes a little. It's a bit foggy though. Might not be the best for sightseeing, I just realized. We'll try. Maybe it gets better the farther we go. Let's push forward on that yoke. One sec guys, I'll get back to you in a bit. Just pitching for 115 knots here so I can get rid of the flaps. There you go. Alright, let's trace the coast here. At least we can still see something. I think it should be okay to get rid of the inertial separator in the landing lights. Have to watch our torque though. That torque will climb as you turn off the inertial separator. We'll have to make sure that doesn't go beyond 100. But yeah, look at how calm the wind is here. Oh, I realized what I can do is I can stay on the right side here and keep the shore on the left. Maybe that can be possible to work around with. So at least we still have stuff on the left here, it's easier to see. That torque just climbed out of nowhere. Your brother is taking your PC to college, so you had to spend 1K for PC parts so you can play Flight Sim. Nice. Do you have the parts with you already? Congrats. That circle is increasing. And I'm not sure what that is, if that's like the gliding distance that I was talking about earlier. Because some apps do have that. So like if in case your engine suddenly fails and you have to glide your way across, that's the maximum distance you can cover given your best speed for gliding. Okay, let's go and level off here. I should be able to speed up here actually. So just push that to around 90+% torque and trim this so we are flying level. Oh, that's nice. Not a bad view at all. That plane, yeah, it'll try and fight me all the way through though. Because we pushed really hard on the throttle, it will try to pitch up. So have to trim that so that it stays level. We don't climb much more. Yeah. So we just trace this shoreline. Eventually it will cut off. When it does cut off, is that the one already? No, it's going to be a bigger cutoff, I think. Then we would wait for the next shore and then we would trace that to the right, going to the east. And then we would merge through in, what was that? Dumfries or something. And then we would follow the roads into the valley. That's the plan. Not yet. Should come in 2 or 3 weeks. That's okay. Better late than never. And maybe it will be a blessing in disguise, because maybe during release it will be a bit chaotic. I don't know. Server stability or bugs. And maybe in the first 2 weeks after that it will get a bit more calm and a bit more ironed out. So maybe you're not missing much. That will turn out great. Congrats in advance, man. Visibility is not the best. There's a bit of fog here, but still good. We can live with that. We can enjoy that. Now there does seem to be a city here. I wonder what that is. Let's go and track my plane here. I think that's the town of Dreg. Losing my altitude, 1 sec. Yeah, looks like it's Dreg. Of course, I'm not familiar what that is. Looks like a small town. And looks like there is an airport there. No. Let's have a look. 1 sec. No, it looks like some kind of industrial park. Or like C-scale. Maybe. There should be a road right below us as well. The A595. We can try and see if we can trace that. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, with that funky roundabout in the middle. Stick to 4,500 feet here if we can. Okay, there's the shoreline. Moving to the east, so we can follow that. And then we can turn left to the north afterwards. Try and trace through the valley. The yoke is this one. The flight control thing. Because normally you would have a stick or a yoke. If it's like this double-headed thing, double-horn thing, that's the yoke. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I started last year, I think, flight simming. Absolutely knew nothing about it, but once I got involved in that world, it's just a rabbit hole. It's an amazing thing. I can't get enough of it. So I think it's the perfect time to get into flight simming with the new sim getting into play. And everybody's stepping up as a result. Because even though I would imagine flight sim would have its, how do you say? It would have its inadequacies in a way. I guess it won't be perfect for sure. But the things that it does well on, I'm sure the competition will have to push and do even better. Like Explain, I'm sure will get a bit of pressure. And although the maker of Explain, Austin Meyer, has not shown any concern with the release of Flight Sim, I'm sure some parts of that company, the developers of this sim, would feel a bit of pressure and would need to increase some parts of their simulator. Whether that's the weather engine, with the graphics, with the satellite imagery, or however they want to pursue that, but they have to step it up. So that's something to look forward to. Now, I think this is something you would not do in real life. Like let's assume that small circle there is the glide distance, and I think it is, because if you look at the winds are blowing that way to our left, right? So imagine that we lose our engine and we have to glide, then naturally the gliding distance will be around that spot as well, because that's where the wind is blowing. So I think, yeah, that seems to be like the gliding distance. Or maybe not actually, because it's growing smaller and doesn't make sense anymore. A while ago it did. I don't know, but yeah, I probably won't go through here at this low altitude, because as I was mentioning, normally you would want to stay close to the land, so you would always have a backup plan in case things turn sour. And yeah, this is definitely not proper flight planning, but yeah, I think we can go with that. What we can do as well is trace the shore better like that and go and not stay too far away from it. But I think we'll have to descend to 3,500 because it seems like we have some clouds ahead of us. Your mom doesn't get video games. They often don't. But we showed Squirrel Video Flight Sim. She was amazed at it. That's great, yeah. I show Mrs. Clumsy the same thing. And yeah, oftentimes people would even not be able to distinguish the difference. Let's turn on inertial separator here to be on the safe side. Yeah, I'm not sure what that circle is. If anyone's going to be watching this on YouTube or familiar with that, just let me know. There we go. That still looks a bit too high actually. Let's go down to 2,500, or else we might just punch through the clouds. Or I could climb higher. That's also something I could do. Let's do that instead, so we're safer. Climb, please. Alright, chicken strips, have a good night. Catch you next time. Hopefully by that time we are in the flight sim world by then. We'll see. Let's go to 6.5. There we go, we are above the clouds at this point. Should be okay. How far away are we from the airport? It does say 38 minutes. That's a bit long. But we are still climbing, so that should speed up later as we even out here and get back some speed. Although that does mean that we are not going to have nice visuals below because we decided to stay over the clouds. It's a bit of a party pooper. So might have to just punch through this later, just for the scenic sights. And normally you wouldn't do that if you're VFR, but you can afford some level of creative license, I could say. Yeah, let's go down here. I can do as well is turn on the terrain, so we're not sure that once we punch through the clouds there would be like a mountain facing us, waiting for us. What that would do is it would mark the map with yellow or red as we come closer to land. Go too fast there. All right. There's that circle again. It only seems to pop up when you're what? When you're lower in altitude? That would be interesting to read up on later. Okay, so we've just entered into IMC here. That would mean instrument meteorological conditions or something like that. That basically means you cannot use your visuals to see anything from the outside. So you have to rely on your instruments in IMC. So at this point it would be better if you don't look outside at all and just focus on the panel. Because if you look outside like that and try to make your way, try to understand what you're going through, it's just going to be a bit more difficult. I do see the valley up ahead in our map and in our synthetic vision, so that's something we could use. What I'm not sure of is when this cloud cover would disappear. I haven't really studied the weather over in these parts, but we'll see. I hope it doesn't go too low, otherwise it would be dangerous. If I remember correctly, last time we went here to Oban, we were coming from the northeast, but it was the same predicament we had. There was pretty low cloud cover and it was not very friendly for visual flight rules. That looks so good. There you see the yellow starting to appear. If you zoom out there, see better. There is a valley to our left here. Yeah, and some red spots also appearing, which means some of these are going to be deadly for us soon. How low do we need to go here? Maybe 1,000 feet. My goodness. Yeah, that's getting hairy. But yeah, there's still that valley there that we can trace, it looks like. And I think that's this one, this body of water here. It's like stream that we can basically trace through. That one. Okay, 1,500 feet is where we should maintain that. Although at this point, yeah, it doesn't seem like that would work at all anymore, huh? Because now we're trapped. Now there is no way through. Even across that river. Strange. Maybe if you zoom in, it won't be all yellow. Well, yellow I guess can still be okay. I think that's what, 500 feet. Yeah, maybe it can work. We'll see. Stay here at 1,500 feet. It looks scary though from here, huh? Should be okay at this rate. But yeah, the cloud cover is getting lower and lower. We should start getting some terrain warnings as well here. There we go, 1,500 feet should be okay. That's not bad looking at all. There's the river. So we can trace that. Shouldn't be that high up. I do see yellow everywhere in front of us, so that should be, I guess, manageable. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's getting worse and worse, huh? Getting worse and worse. Barely visible now. I think once we reach that point, you won't see anything anymore. Shall be pretty dangerous. Looks like we have some turbulent winds here as well. Scratch that. I don't think this will work, guys. Just like before. Yeah, look at how thick that cloud cover is. You have to punch through here. Try and make our way through. No storms, that's good. These are just some pretty thick clouds. Goodness, that's rough. Oof. This is where the autopilot would come in handy. Otherwise this would act like a free workout for me. Yeah. We'll get through this somehow. Starting to see the cloud thin out my periphery. Wind is still the same though, still pretty violent. My goodness. There we go. Start seeing the top of the clouds now. Keep climbing. Phew. Those clouds don't look bad at all, do they? It looks like there's also some bad weather up ahead. Yeah, pretty much. So I think it's best if we just climb all the way up here. Stop looking elsewhere and focus on flying. Okay, that's more like it. Stay away from that cloud. I'm actually not even sure if there's like a 1:1 correspondence with like how the wind feels and where the cloud looks like it is. Now there's nothing again there. In X-Plane at least, because for sure when you're flying through clouds it gets more turbulent in a normal scenario. But here in X-Plane I'm not sure if that's like corresponding. Like when you fly through these visual clouds, does it get rougher? Because oftentimes what I notice is it gets rough, it gets calm. Not really where the clouds are. Near the clouds, yes, but not really like exactly where they are. So that I'm not sure. Maybe I just don't notice it. Now it's calm. Nice. Oh, look at that night and day difference. That's so cool. Okay, there we go. Well, above the clouds we can still do some sightseeing, I guess. Should be okay to remove that again. Stick to 9.5. That looks good right there. Push down though. Climbing too high. Torque is climbing too high as well. I'm just imagining now, when will I be playing X-Plane again? It all depends how good Flight Sim will be, Microsoft Flight Sim will be. If it proves lacking in some departments, I might get back into X-Plane sooner than I anticipated. But right now I'm expecting once that comes out, I'll be staying there for quite some time, especially because I'm very much into GAs right now, and airliners not that appealing to me at the moment. I'm in that mood, and right now what I've seen in Microsoft Flight Sim is the airliners aren't very good yet. They look good, but the systems are far from developed, so I think that will require some time to iron out, to polish. And I doubt they're going to plan and implement those into something that's study level. So I don't think that will happen. But I think for VFR, for flying small planes and just enjoying the scenery and enjoying the beauty of flight, that will be perfect, that sim. So getting into those smaller planes will be amazing. But yeah, we'll see. I'm a bit having a hard time though with freeing up enough space. That's my main problem right now. Because I'm not yet sure how much space the new sim will take. I was able to free up some, but I don't think I will have enough. I'll have to delete some more files, and I don't want to resort to like deleting X-Plane altogether, because yeah, this sim definitely still would have its strengths. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go direct from here. That should be faster. Direct. Enter. There you go. And we can just follow that through. Oi. What we can do, turn on the autopilot, nav mode, while we plan this, because in Oban, looks like the runways are 01 and 19, but there is no ETIS or anything like that. So if we look at the weather, yikes, okay, IFR conditions. Broken at 1,000 feet, overcast 2,300 feet, okay. The winds are 9.3 at 4 knots, so pretty crosswindy. So, but it looks like runway 1 would still be the best for it. Maybe. Yeah, 01 would still be the best. Okay. Is there an approach there? Let's have a look. Nope, there is none. Okay, fine. So let's just tune in 01 then, later on, as we get closer. Let's check that here. Runway 01 has a magnetic heading of 9 degrees. Yeah, that's okay. Then we can turn off at Bravo. That's the way it looks. 01. Turn right at Bravo. That's where we park, more or less. And we should be able to land straight in there, all things considered. Okay, that looks good. Let's close that. Yeah, that should be okay. So now we wait and we enjoy the scenery. It's getting a bit laggy though. 20 FPS, my goodness. Yeah, these clouds, even though they're 2D, they can get a bit heavy. The thicker the cloud cover, the more it hurts my FPS. And that's also one of my main concerns, because with Microsoft Flight Sim, the clouds would even be better looking. They will be 3D, but that would most likely mean heavier performance, so that's something I'm very worried about. So we'll see. Looks like we have 12 minutes ETA till we get to Oban, so we can do some sightseeing for now. Yikes, it's very heavy on the frames though. If you look through here, it's much faster, 30 FPS. But once you look out, boom, just disappears. My GPU cannot handle it. Let's fiddle with this instead while we're waiting. What else can we do here? 20 feet, hard surface. You can also check for nearest airports, and this is like useful when you have an engine failure and you have to divert, because you have easily here a list of all the airports that are nearby, their distance from you, and their runways. For example, like that one says 0321 hard surface 6250 by 147, things like that. So this is, and all their frequencies are there as well. So very, very useful. It even has a visual of where that is in relation to where you are and where you're facing. That's actually pretty smart. Nice. So yeah, in case of emergency, it would be a few clicks away. What is this? Airport, runway, frequency. Ah, you can jump to those. I see. You can jump to those headings. So you don't have to scroll all the way through. Cool. Looks like we're getting a bit of turbulence again. Thankfully now we have Autopilot with us. Take care of the stabilization. Now here, I don't think there's a way to zoom that in. There's also a checklist in this plane. The checklist itself is merged into the plane. That's pretty cool, like if you really want to simulate it. Manual override control is backward, like here. Throttle cut off, strobes, and then you can check each one like that. You can even assign a button so that you're just pressing that instead of clicking here. But yeah, if you want immersion, this plane really has all of that. And this is one of those strange things about this plane. You see, starting the engine, before you even start the engine, you turn on the strobes. Normally, in other planes, you turn on the strobes only when you are in the runway itself. But whilst you're still on the ramp, you're still on the taxiway, you keep them off. But this one is different. Not sure why. But yeah, that's part of the standard checklist. Where is top of descent? There it is. That dot there. Let's see. So top of descent is 2 minutes 40 from now. Looks okay. Or is there anything we can tune in? Not really. Next rad. That's fine. There is also a show chart feature here, but I'm not sure how to make that work. I wish this had like integration with Navigraph. Because right now it doesn't have anything. I think you have to put files separately here. So right now it's AviTab that's more useful when it comes to charts if you have a Navigraph subscription. That would be cool though, because I think in the real plane, yeah, they have that. They can load up the chart right here. It'd be much more functional. It has a bigger screen and it's really part of the plane. Whoa. Going through some clouds here, I think it's best if we enable that already. Looks good, doesn't it? Finally, we're clearing the clouds. Nice. So we should be able to descend to 1,000 feet
Vertical track.
or less. So what we do is we set the altitude selector to 1,000 feet. Right there, and then we hit VNav, so that arms the VNav. You see the V path here go white, and when this vertical deviation, this indicator as we go closer to the top of descent, that goes closer to the middle here. And when it crosses the middle, that V-path should be active. That should become green and should replace this altitude hold of 9,500 feet. That's the idea. We'll see if that works. Okay, zoom in here and see. There we go. So V-path is active. And now we are starting our descent. Nice. Let's go ahead and prepare. Just to be on the safe side so I don't forget anything. So what I'll do is I'll switch to heading mode, because on this side I will turn on OBS mode here, set the course to 009, like that, because that's where the runway would be facing. So that gives us a nice entry to that point. And then we can move the heading so we can approach that point at a bit better distance, a bit more leeway in there. Actually, I can enable nav mode that way. Oh my goodness, yeah. Very bad weather here. No wonder. Yikes. Getting pretty close. Oh my goodness, didn't know we were in a storm. Oh yeah, now it appears. Slow down here. I don't want to go through this fast. But it's green though, so it should be okay. The yellow and red one should be the ones that are more scary. Yeah, let's slow down so that it doesn't get too bumpy. Come on. Give me something. Okay, let's keep it steady like that. We'll get through it eventually, guys. We're a bit over the time, but we'll just land this thing. Or at least we'll try to. We'll see how it goes. Come on. Oh, that's a bit noisy. It's like some fogging works happening outside. Speed up a little here. That looks scary, huh? Yeah, the graphics are not bad. They're not Microsoft Flight Sim level, but they're no pushover. Continue our descent through here. As always, bad weather whenever I go to this airport. Maybe during the summer season it's really pretty rough here. As we get closer to that magenta line, the GPS should take into effect and it should turn us to the right, ideally. There's the airport in the PFD. There's the airport we see as well. There. I'm not sure if it has any like pappy lights though. I think it is better in winter and that there are less storms. I'm not so sure though. But from what I know, during summer is when really all the storms are popping up. What's difficult in winter is the temperature, I believe. Because you would really need to take care of anti-ice mechanisms and stuff like that. Like this entire panel like here, these are all de-icing measures, heaters and stuff. Flaps on. And right now we don't really need it because it's pretty hot. But in a normal scenario, let's lower the landing gears here. I would imagine in winter you really need a lot of that. Right, here we go. Let's catch up to the glide path here. Let's balance it out little by little.
Vertical track.
Oh, I'm too high. Yeah. The one for airliners where they go so high, that definitely has... They always have their anti-ice on. Well, some... No, not really. They have anti-ice measures definitely, is what I mean to say. Oh, it's very bad approach. I think we'll push it because we are out of time. Normally you would probably go around at this point. Nah, we can make it. Push. Lower. There we go. That's more like it.
Minimums.
There it is. Perfect. Just float.
Airspeed.
There we go. I can live with that. Having a bit of trouble maintaining center line though. Would not want to listen to me. Okay, we leave that there. Can we back taxi? Just make a U-turn and turn left afterwards maybe. Something like that here. Beautiful mountain. Yeah, probably a hill, but for us, that's a mountain already. Yeah, this is a pretty nice site normally. I've done a couple of practice landings here. Yeah, the hill right beyond the runway is always interesting. In the normal setting, in the nice weather, that would have been nice to explore. That should be okay. Just hang out here. Block everybody. Alright. See how that works. Looking good there. Not bad at all. I'll take it. $431. 612 minus 431. Why do you need to do that? 181, okay. Okay, is that enough? Okay, there you go. That's weird. Takeoff on runway was not set. Although we did land on runway this time and on center line. And it was a smooth landing. Nice. And now I think we've leveled up. What does that do? Not sure, but I can't click it anymore. Hello? Well, okay. 2000. Yeah, that looks like all of those are built, although this one didn't seem to refresh. Okay, might be a bug. Anyway. Alright. Let's just watch the landing and then I'm going to let you guys go. So I think that was not a bad one. Bit laggy there though. There you go. Alright. Let's finish this up. Did a dive. Made it somehow, but a bit scary. I think that was okay. Oh, that was actually nice. Just didn't go on center line so much. That was nice. Cool. I'll take it. Alright. Thanks everyone for joining. See you next week on Microsoft Flight Sim. Have a good day. Catch you in 2 days for some Pro Mods 2.50 action. Was better. Yeah, might be. Anyway. All good. Yeah, we'll see. No assurances there, but I'm sure we'll have fun. Thanks. Have a good day. Clumsy flying and catch you guys soon. Bye.